Hey guys, hope you are doing absolutely amazing. TJ Atkinson in the building, your finance coach. So today we're going to be talking about where I believe smart investors are going to be throwing their money over the next few years. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because it creates a perfect opportunity for new investors and experienced investors to get their money working for them. The whole idea of being in the stock market is to get ahead of the curve, which means you're getting in before the action starts. So a lot of people make the mistake of thinking they've got to get in the action when the action is actually actioning. I hope you caught that. The point I'm trying to make is if you want to make money as an investor in the stock market, you've got to get in before it takes off. So you don't want to jump on a train once a train has left the station. You want to get on at the stop just before it so you can protect your investment, but you've also got in at the right time. Hope you're getting some values from these videos. If you like these videos, make sure you are liking and subscribing. Do me a favor, make sure you punch that subscribe button in the face because it really helps for this video to get put in front of people that are going to find it useful and valuable. Today we're going to be talking about something that I found incredibly interesting. I was browsing the news and I came across something and I wanted to share it with you guys that are interested in making money for the future. So, what are we talking about today? We're talking about the UK's crazy decision to ban petrol and diesel cars beginning by 2030. Now, you're probably thinking, who the heck cares? Why does that affect me? In fact, I'm a bike rider, I'm a skateboarder, I jump on a bus and a train. Why should it affect me? Well, if you're thinking about getting into the stock market, or you're thinking about leveling up your investment, or you're looking at a way to get ahead of the curve, here is the information right in front of you. So let's go back to this right here. CNBC have released a statement that pretty much sums up exactly what I understood it to be. It says the UK plans to ban the sale of petrol and diesel cars by 2030. But why is that important to you? Why should you pay attention to that piece of information? How does this information allow you to get ahead of the curve? How does this put more money in your pocket as an investor? Well, listen very carefully, because what is going to happen is petrol cars and diesel cars and companies that are formidable players in this space are going to have to move in another direction. Can you guess what direction that is? Have a guess what direction most car companies are going to have to move into. Now remember, it's not a choice. At this point, they're going to be forced. If they want to remain in the game as a formidable player in the motor industry, they're going to be forced to move with the times. Guess what direction they're going to be forced to move into? They're going to be forced to move into the electrical car manufacturing space or the electrical car provision space. I want you to catch this. This is how you get ahead of the curve. This is how you start to make money from what's going on in the market. And now you've got ample time to get your ducks in a row, to get your eggs in your basket, and to get yourself prepared to take advantage of what's going to happen. The government have come out guns blazing. They've said, listen, we were planning to introduce this in 2040, but you know what? We need to change now. We need to improve the environment. We need to change and we need to remove and ban diesel cars. So what they're saying is, the electric market, the electric car space is about to boom and is about to rocket. So this creates a perfect opportunity for the smart investor so you can start your analysis now and start to look for companies, which we'll talk about later on, companies that are created, that are moving very fast, that are building in this very specific space. What's going to happen with the traditional cars? Well, we're going to see by the end of 2030, they're not going to be able to manufacture any more petrol and diesel cars. So what's going to happen? Well, I've got to preface this, and this is very important to understand. If you've got a car and it's a petrol or diesel car, doesn't mean you've got to throw it away. It just means manufacturers will not be able to manufacture new petrol and diesel cars. So let's go to the opportunity. The opportunity is very simple for you. The government in the UK are saying by 2030, they're going to ban petrol and diesel cars, which means there's going to be an automatic push for what? Electric cars. Norway has jumped on board. Norway, in fact, they're quite optimistic and they're planning to introduce this in 2025. So that gives us around 4 to 5 years, or that gives people in Norway 4 to 5 years to get themselves in a position to start making smart investments in the electrical space, in the electrical car market, in these car manufacturers, and start winning. Germany is also on board. Germany, just like the UK, is saying by 2030 they're going to ban petrol and diesel cars, and it's going to be a move to electric cars. Guess what? France is also on board. And France is saying, okay, well, by 2040, going to ban the production of petrol and diesel cars. Again, I hope you are seeing how this creates an opportunity for you, and it gives you 3 to 5 years to get yourself in a position to find these strong companies that are going to stand tall and are going to be the forefront of the electrical car market. So I want to go through some figures so you understand why the government is pushing for this. And I'm going to show you some reasons why you've got to start looking at this market as a place to start making your investments. Number one, the UK plans to be carbon neutral by 2050. They've got to start putting things in motion in order to reach that goal by 2050, which is why they're starting in 2030. So it means this is going to happen, which means we're going to move away from what we've known for decades and decades, which is petrol cars and diesel cars, and we are moving into a stage of electric cars. And more importantly, the government is planning to invest £2.8 billion in electrical cars. So again, it's going to happen. Now, just to show you the scope in this market, and I want to break this down in a way that you understand this. This market is about to boom and it's about to skyrocket. Why is that? And I'll tell you why. Because 1.3 million cars were sold in 2020. So that's 1.3 million cars across the board were sold in the UK in 2020. Now, to you, that might not sound like a lot, but in a place where there are 60 million people, 1.3 million cars is quite a lot. But there were only 78,000 electric cars that were sold. There were less than 100,000 cars from 1.3 million that were sold, which represents around 7, maybe 8% of the total amount of cars that were sold. So what that indicates to me is there's still so much space and so much growth, especially when it's a forced change, which means people will be forced to carry out this change to move to electric cars because the UK want to meet their target of being carbon neutral by 2050. I'm going to go through some companies based on my research that I think are going to play this game and they're going to win in this game in terms of positioning themselves as the go-to manufacturers or as the go-to providers for electric cars. And these are companies that you can start to look at as possible places to invest your funds in order to prepare for this green change. Number one, let's start with one of my favorite companies, Tesla. I'm the biggest fan of Tesla, heavily invested in Tesla, got in relatively early, but things are going incredibly well at the moment. Why do I think Tesla is well positioned or well poised to take advantage of this? Because right now, Tesla is recognized as the #1 car manufacturer for electrical vehicles. So it means if they carry on the trajectory that they're on right now, they're going to take advantage of their current position in the market to lead the pack as everyone transitions and moves into the electric space. Now again, Tesla, a very interesting brand run by this very crazy entrepreneur, Elon Musk. You've got to look at it for what it is. In preparation for this change or this transition, I foresee companies like Tesla ramping up their marketing. Because think about it this way, they already have the infrastructure. They already have the management team in place. They already have the facilities. All they've got to do is to be able to increase production, which isn't easy, of course, but increase production and become front runners, or maybe partnership with governments or partnerships with certain people in order to stay in the position as #1. How many new car manufacturers are going to be working on the transitionary process or trying to change their systems, improve their factories, abide by certain regulations that will become compliant? Tesla is already miles ahead of the game. So it's going to be a catch-up for many people. And this is why, in my opinion, I will be topping up on my Tesla shares in preparation for the next 10 years. NIO is another incredible company. Now, NIO is a Chinese company. It's often referred to as the Tesla of China. Now, that says a lot. It says that there's legs. It says that there's room for growth. It says that they've got something in their palms or in their reach, which is why people are calling them the Tesla of China. Now, to me, that's quite exciting to see a company that's really tugging at the helms of such a formidable company, such as Tesla, and positioning themselves to take advantage of what's coming up in this market. Now with NIO, again, do your research. NIO, they are releasing, I believe it's 2 cars by 2021, and it's going to be interesting to see how their growth goes. One other company that I think everyone should be looking at is a company called Candy Technologies. Now, this is where it gets a little bit different. Now, I read a book by Peter Thiel. I wish I had it somewhere here. I read a book by Peter Thiel. It was called 0 to 1. And he talks about, rather than creating a product or a service that everyone's doing, find something on the outside that everyone's not doing, but all those people who are doing it need your service. Now again, I hope you caught that. Let me explain that again. And I'll go back to Candy Technologies. Candy Technologies understands that there's a race in this market to become the biggest player. They understand that governments across the world are trying to be carbon neutral. They understand that there's new regulations coming into place with regards to the banning of petrol and diesel cars. Rather than Candy Technology becoming like NIO or Tesla and creating and manufacturing their own cars, what they've decided to do is to focus on one tiny element, which is probably the most important element. They are a battery manufacturer for electrical cars. Now, in my opinion, that is clearly an indication of a stock that's worth considering or looking deeper into. Once they become recognized as the go-to manufacturer for electrical car batteries, then guess what's going to happen? It means every single car manufacturer that's moving into this space, that's being forced into this space, if they decide not to manufacture, they can always outsource the service or the battery from someone like Candy Technologies, which is why I say, in my opinion, it makes an interesting opportunity to look at. So hey guys, hope you got some value from that. As I said, it's just a very quick video just to let you know where my head is, where I believe the market is going with regards to this specific change in the market. I think it's important that you actually do some further research and you look into how this market is going to change, how it's going to grow, and what place and what position can you take in order to secure your future by making the right investment. Hey guys, hope you're doing amazing. If you get value from this video, make sure you smash that like button, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, because it really helps with the YouTube algorithm and it puts my videos in front of more people that are going to get more value and are going to use it to create wealth for themselves. If you've got a 10-year-old to an 18-year-old that you want them to become much more financially savvy, I've got a training course that teaches them about money and about finance. Make sure you get them booked on. I'll catch you soon.